Hi, welcome to the Christmas Time in the City podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris. Before we get started, be sure to follow us on social media. We're Christmas Time in the City podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at Xmas in City Pod on Twitter.
Also, feel free to email any questions or comments to us at christmastimeinthecitypodcast@gmail.com. Today, we're talking all about the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree.
In 1931, workers at the Rockefeller Center construction site decided to pull their money together to buy a Christmas tree, a 20-foot balsam fir that they decorated with handmade garland from their families. 2 years later, in 1933, Rockefeller Center decided to make the tree an annual tradition and held the first official lighting ceremony with a 50-foot tree.
During World War II, the tree's decor switched to a more patriotic theme with red, white, and blue globes and painted wooden stars. In 1942, no materials needed for the war could be used on the tree, so instead of one tree, there were 3 smaller ones, each decorated in one of the flag's 3 colors. It was also the first year that the tree was replanted after the holidays. In 1944, the tree remained unlit due to wartime blackout regulations.
When the war ended in 1945, the year of darkness was soon forgotten, as 6 ultraviolet light projectors were employed to make it appear as though the tree's 700 fluorescent globes were glowing in the dark. By the 1950s, it took 20 workers on scaffolding 9 days to fully decorate the tree. And 1951 marked the first time that NBC televised the tree lighting with a special on The Kate Smith Show.
In a tradition that has lasted more than 8 decades, Rockefeller Center announced on its Instagram page that this year's tree hails from the village of Florida in Orange County, New York, just under 60 miles from the busy plaza where the Norway spruce will be raised for millions to admire.
This year's tree was brought to the city earlier in November, and it won't be lit until December 4th. The tree will then remain lit in its iconic spot in Rockefeller Plaza through early 2020, with the lights shining for a full 24 hours on Christmas Day.
The lighting ceremony takes place Wednesday, December 4th, 2019 at 7 p.m. The lights are switched on at 9 p.m.
This year's telecast, which airs at 8 p.m. Eastern, will feature performances by Chicago, John Legend, Idina Menzel, Leah Michelle, Neo, Gwen Stefani, Straight No Chaser, Derek and Julianne Hough, and Alex Newell from NBC's Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist.
It will also feature Miss America 2019, Nia Franklin, and the iconic Radio City Rockettes. Don't expect to see all these performances at the actual lighting ceremony, as many are pre-recorded.
This year, the city is being proactive regarding the overcrowding sidewalks by closing portions of 49th and 50th Streets and 5th and 6th Avenues surrounding Rockefeller Center for a slightly more spacious strolling experience. These streets will also be closed on the weekends during the holiday season.
In past years, performers have included Tony Bennett, Lady Gaga, Mariah Carey, Neil Diamond, Josh Groban, Tori Kelly, Sarah McLachlan, Dolly Parton, Jordan Smith, Garth Brooks, Trisha Yearwood, and more.
If you're planning on checking out the lighting, we recommend that you arrive by 3 p.m. and absolutely no later than 4 p.m., though going early is even better since the event is always very crowded.
For the most part, the same LED lights, which were first introduced in 2007, are still used each year, though their total number has grown from around 30,000 to more than 50,000.
The Swarovski crystal star that tops the tree first appeared in 2004 and was reimagined in 2018. The new version has a whopping 3 million crystals, 70 glass spikes, and a brightness of 106,000 lumens, which may be powerful enough to turn night into day.
3 million crystals. The tradition of seeing the tree each year is one of many quintessential holiday experiences in the Big Apple. After snapping a photo of it, visitors can lace up their skates and go for a spin around Rockefeller Center's ice rink. Since there's room for only 150 skaters at a time, skating at Rockefeller Center remains an intimate experience, despite the number of people who wait in line to skate it. With the brightly lit Christmas tree and surrounding buildings towering over you, it's truly an experience of a lifetime. Before we end this podcast, we wanted to get to some more of your questions. We've been taking questions on social media, so feel free to take part. And if you have anything you wanted to ask us, feel free to reach out, and we will most likely read your question. So here we go. I'm visiting New York City. Should I rent a car?
That all depends on what you want to do. If you're coming here to hang out in New York City, no, you don't need one. There's public transportation. There's car sharing services.
Yeah.
If you plan on going outside of the city, then
Rent a car
maybe.
for that possibly. Yeah.
But yeah, only for that day that you would need it, not for the
Yeah.
whole trip.
Otherwise, parking is a pain in the butt. You don't want to deal with that. So, yeah. If you're going outside the city, you can consider it, I suppose. Also, before you do that, see if there's any like buses that may take you up to places you want to go. 'Cause that may be a better alternative than having to deal with driving. But yeah, just for generally, no, you don't need to rent a car. You can use mass transportation. I think we talked about that in a previous mailbag about how to get to and from the airport. Okay. So next one is, who's better at wrapping presents?
I am.
I would say I am.
I think that you are
Very good at wrapping presents. Okay, next
No.
question.
Well, you're not bad at it, but you definitely do it differently. I feel like he really likes to take wrapping paper and make it go inside out, and either have like the white part,
Yeah, like
or
I'll use
you'll find like craft paper to use.
Yeah,
you
or
won't
like,
use like wrapping paper.
shopping bags, just like paper bags. And
Yeah,
just-
yeah, he'll rip apart like paper bags and like.
I think it looks cool. I'm also
I
just
mean-
generally very good at wrapping presents. What we use for wrapping paper is a totally different question. I can probably erase that one now.
I guess so, but I'm good at it too.
Yeah,
Don't
We'll
say
see.
yeah like that.
we'll see.
Competition coming
Here
up.
it comes. We'll post pictures.
Yeah, that's it.
And also, second part of that question, are bags a cop-out?
Yes.
Yes, bags are
I
a
mean,
cop-out.
doesn't mean I don't do it.
Yes.
But it's
Next-
definitely a cop out. That's usually towards the end of wrapping presents, and you're like, I can't do this anymore.
Exactly. Next question. When do you take your decorations down?
I don't remember. It's obviously after New Year's, maybe like a couple weeks after.
Usually, at least last year, the last couple years, we've done, in order to kind of maintain the spirit after the holidays, we'll take down anything that's like aggressively Christmassy, but keep up like garland or keep up things that are kind of wintry, and just have like winter decorations. So the tree doesn't stay up forever because we get the fresh trees, so it just would end up dying more than it already has. But
we have like some like holly and like little berries
Yeah,
and
like
stuff
we'll
that we have
keep
everywhere,
things up
just
for a
kind of sprinkled
while.
around.
for a long time, actually. I think we
Well,
also
through winter.
for the entirety of winter. We also our front doormat was a winter doormat. And I think we got rid of it pretty recent, like maybe like the end of summer.
It was when fall started, and I remembered I had a fall.
Yeah, so
doormat.
we had just like snow-capped mountains
through the summer
through this whole summer.
and spring. Oh well.
Yeah.
You know, one day we'll switch it up. It's fall now, so Christmas one's coming up. We'll make sure to not keep it up this time.
We'll see.
Maybe.
Okay, here's the next one. Have you been to the Christmas tree lighting?
Yes, we have. We've been twice.
Twice. We went twice.
They were both very different experiences, and I highly recommend the second one.
The
if
second one's a little more
possible.
complicated to do. The first
Yeah.
one we waited and just kind of hung out, and we actually didn't even end up getting to see the actual lighting. We were around the corner on like 50th, looking at a giant jumbotron of the performances or whatever was going on, and then for whatever reason, right before the countdown to light the tree, they turned the jumbotron off, so we were all just in the dark. And then the tree went on because you could see like the lights reflecting off the buildings.
And you hear other
couldn't
people
see it at all.
applauding.
And then everyone that was waiting there, it was pretty densely packed. They all kind of moved towards the tree, and like you could hear NYPD saying like, "Nope, you're not going to see it tonight."
Yeah, and we're in New York, so everyone said, "Yeah, we
Yeah,
are.
we're definitely
we're
gonna
gonna see the
tonight.
tree." So everyone
We've
just,
been out here for 3 hours.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to see it tonight.
We all pushed forward
Yeah,
and saw that
so-
tree. Yeah, so be cautious when you're out there. You're not necessarily going to have a view of the tree. It might just be of a screen.
Yeah, the people you see on those telecasts look much happier than they actually are. 'Cause
Yeah, they've been there all day.
Yeah, it's
like
usually
from
a
the
bummer.
morning.
Yeah, like the ones you see for New Year's Eve. Those are like like the worst.
We'll have an episode on that one.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Get ready for that. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh! And you have to be there for Jenny McCarthy the entire time. Oof. Anyway,
the second time we went, I got to go through when I worked in retail. It was one of like our sister stores. That's the best way to do it, is to find someone that works in a store around the tree.
Yeah,
and basically
VIP.
It was VIP. Like we had to go underground, like where the subways are. There's a whole like subway stop station under Rockefeller Center. And there was a whole section where there was security lined up and you couldn't go past it. Normally you can walk through there, but during this event they stopped people and we had to show them like our invitation, all that kind of stuff, go underground and come back up through their store, which was also accessed through underground. And yeah, we got to watch it through a window and we watched in the warmth and we had snacks and drinks and we watched everyone outside not looking happy about it, but we were there as well, so we understood. We were very grateful for that experience, but it was really neat. So if you know someone that works around there, try to get them to hook it up.
Just do that, or just walk into the stores and make friends with someone in November.
Yeah, exactly.
Next question. Gingerbread men or gingerbread house?
It all depends. To make or to eat.
Yeah, you don't want to eat a gingerbread house.
No.
Usually the gingerbread houses are drier and harder material or harder type of gingerbread, so you don't necessarily want to eat that.
Yeah.
But I will eat a gingerbread man, 100%.
Yeah, and we do every year.
And we do, several of them. We have a little cookie cutter.
Yeah. And we decorate them and make them very interesting looking.
And then we eat them. Absolutely. Although we are planning on doing a gingerbread house this year.
Yeah, and we're going to do it during one of our episodes. So we'll probably
maybe
do
like a listener bag.
Like a listener bag episode while we put together a gingerbread house. So you can hear us being frustrated.
Us fiddle around with candy, because that's the one thing you want to hear more in your ears is like people just like rumbling through like bags of snow caps.
Oh, yeah. We'll see.
Next question. Have you started Christmas shopping yet? No. I have not. That question stresses me out.
Yeah, it's every year I say I'm going to start shopping in like September. And here we are.
This year has been so crazy. This has been a very fast year for us.
Yeah.
We have a baby. It's 6 months old basically at this point of recording. And it's been a whirlwind. And
yeah, there's not much time to do anything every day. I mean, I have lists going of like things I'd like to get people, or I've been like browsing a whole bunch of different lists that come out around this time of year, like gifts to give this person and best gifts on this. So I've been looking on all those to try to figure something out for people. I like doing handmade gifts every year too, but I just don't know where we're going to find the time for that.
Hands-made gifts? Like hands-made tail?
Oh, gosh, no. Handmade.
That would be a very depressing gift.
That would be very sad. No.
Don't
handmade.
show it to your husband. This question kind of goes with what we just talked about then. It said, you've mentioned you had a baby. How do you find time to research and record podcasts?
Well, I'm going to shoot that one over to you because you do most of the research. I kind of pop in and talk to you guys.
It's we've had a hard time recording because we have a pretty short window when we can record, and which is usually towards the end of the night when he goes to sleep. So we have to be in the right frame of mind, and usually one of us is very exhausted from working or being home with the baby all day, or both. And so it has to be the right it has to be the perfect storm, if you will. But I do a fair amount of research during the day. I'll kind of thumb through articles and collect information and kind of go through that stuff, and also just like reminisce, I suppose, of things that we've experienced, so we can kind of interject that stuff in as well. But it's been difficult, I guess. Maybe this was not the best time in the world to start making a podcast, but it's something to do.
I think that this is something that kind of brings us back to, I don't know, not just being parents right now.
Yeah, we can kind of forget that we're being parents for a second and be Christmas enthusiasts.
Yeah.
I do a fair amount of research on the train too, on my way to work. that's just like a good 45-minute chunk of time that I can kind of just invest in staring at my phone. But yeah, so we're getting there, and I think we're getting to be a little bit better about it. And we're going to kind of push ourselves to put more episodes out. So I would expect to see more of those, or hear more of those, as we approach Christmas. And this question then, I guess, kind of coincides with that then. Will this podcast be uploaded throughout the year or just during the holidays? And we're going to try to put it up pretty much all year long, I think. We're going to do all kinds of stuff because there's a certain amount of things that you can talk about in the month or two that people are really listening to Christmas podcasts before they start unsubscribing. But having like the back catalog, I think, of information that people kind of can go back and listen to is a cool idea. So we're going to put out episodes very similar to this one, probably, where we go into details about specific things. We'll also do talking and catching up with people, and we'll do some other stuff. We have some other things that we're thinking about doing. But yeah, we're going to keep going through the year.
Yeah, it's definitely more heavy during the holiday season. We want to pump them out a little bit more often during this time, obviously.
It seems like this is a good opportunity to mention that we've gotten a lot of positive feedback, so that's been really cool. So we're gonna keep doing this as long as we can, and it's something we enjoy doing. So I'm really excited about it. I know we just got started, but we're planning a trip in February to Quebec City. So you can expect at least an episode about that itself for their winter carnival, which is their kind of post-Christmas kind of big extravaganza where there's big ice buildings and there's the hotel and there's crazy outdoor activities. And
yeah, that's when you definitely want to follow us on social media.
Yeah, we have some crazy things lined up for you, so it'll be very interesting to see. Mm-hmm. Do you have any pets? And do they have their own stocking?
Yes and yes.
Yes, we have one pet. We have an English bulldog named David.
Yeah, he's pretty great. He is 7 years old.
Yes, he's 7 years old.
And he has a really silly stocking. And I just talked to Chris today, and I said I wanted to get him a new stocking that's a little more normal. He has a stocking that look like a little pair of pants.
Yeah, it looks like a little pair of pants with like the butt flap.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hold anything.
It doesn't,
honestly.
But they're so funny that
it's so weird to have hanging up.
His the way he's patterned, it makes it look like he's wearing pants, like he's brindle on the back. So it just makes me think of him.
Yeah. I'm pretty convinced that there's a ghost attached.
Oh yeah,
they're very old. I'm not even sure where we got them from.
It was a thrift store probably.
Oof.
Or the prop house.
Yeah, they're pretty gross. We'll post a picture of them on social media at some point when we dig them out of the box. So expect to see that. Here's a good one. What did you do this weekend?
Yeah, we went to Bethlehem this weekend. It's Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. We went to Bethlehem, not the one where Jesus was born.
No, a different one. But they definitely take advantage of that name. They decorate the main street. It's really pretty. Just so many lights, and they had a little, like a little market going on outside out there.
Yeah, they had some stands set up in the actual city itself.
Mm-hmm. And then at the steel stacks there, they do like a German style market.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went and explored that. It was super fun. We went last year, and so we decided to try it out again this year, and did not disappoint.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, it has ice sculptors, and it had a glass blower.
There's a lot of craft booths and things, and kind of handmade things. Food, a lot of food. We didn't have any food. Actually, we had some popcorn. But there's a lot of like food stands and stuff that we didn't get to.
No, we ate like chocolate and
we filled up. We got toffee, garbage food.
You know what you're supposed to do at Christmas. We brought home some fun little trinkets from there too. It was really fun. We like going out and adventuring into close areas. It was only about an hour and a half away from Brooklyn, so that's not too bad either. Just going out and exploring a different part of the East Coast, and
we're so close to so many other places. It's silly not to go out there and check it out, especially something like that.
When they call it Christmas City.
Yeah, if it's Christmas City, then we're gonna have to go to it.
But that was really fun. And yeah.
And the last question we're going to talk about is, if you were Santa Claus, what type of cookie would you want to be left out for you on Christmas Eve? This is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
You can go first.
Well,
talk about it. Walk us through it.
The cookie that I really want every year, I don't normally get every year because it's something that me and my sister used to make all the time. You've had it before, and you always tell me how bland they were.
We can talk about that later.
It's the candy cane ones.
Your childhood is full of bland food.
Stop it. I didn't know any better, but it still has like that, I don't know, sentimental value to it, I guess, but I can like taste it right now talking about it, and I want to eat them.
Yeah. Just like a little...
They're candy cane, like twisted, like red food coloring and white food coloring twisted into a candy cane with sprinkles on top. Like pretty basic. Kind
of soft. It's not very crunchy. Just kind of like a...
They have a crunch to them.
Oh, they have a crunch to them.
Yeah, they're hard cookies. Not too hard, but they're harder cookies. Kind of like a sugar cookie, but not as sweet.
But not really any sugar in them.
There's totally sugar in them. He just thinks that there's not, but whatever.
Yeah. Let's talk about cornbread. Let's talk about cornbread for a second. Let's go off topic. So, Kristen, her grandfather, right? Is that where?
Yes, my pa makes the best cornbread, and he'll make it like a whole pie of it for me and my sister when we go and visit him. No matter what we're having, there's always cornbread there.
Yeah.
And I love it. My sister loves it. My family loves this cornbread. Chris had it before. And he does not understand why we love it so much, because it's not sweet, because that's not what we had back then. Like that was, I feel like that's corn. I don't know.
It's just like
who else out there knows like
bread.
Yeah, who else out there has cornbread that's not sweet? I feel like that's a real thing. It's not just.
I don't want to divide the audience.
I'm dividing the audience. Sweet or unsweet cornbread? Tell me about it.
No.
I mean, I still love sweet cornbread too. I'm
sure,
not against it.
Because it tastes really good.
But also, this other one tastes really good too.
Does it taste good? Didn't like your sister dip it in buttermilk or something? There's a whole other thing going on.
Yeah, that was also a thing. Listen, that's just what people did.
Now we're getting into it.
You're from the north. We're from the south. Deal with it.
We're from the south. We dip our flavorless cornbread in buttermilk. Get used to it.
All right, just wait. Other people are going to join in. They're going to tell you.
Great.
It's not abnormal.
I would love to hear from you. If you have any knowledge about unsweetened cornbread, please reach out to us on social media. I'd love to talk to you and find out where you're from regionally, because there has to be something going on.
You've got to back me up out there. I'm done with having this conversation with him. It's real.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's about it for this episode of Christmas Time in the City podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media so we can keep the conversation going and keep you posted about new episodes.
If you like this podcast, please take a minute and rate it and write a review. Contact us and let us know you did, and we'll send you a Christmas Time in the City sticker.
We appreciate your support.
Thank you so much for listening. I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris. And this is Christmas Time in the City.